Hi guys, it's Matthew from Astrological Observation calling in with a full moon report for the full moon that we have on the 12th of August. It's the 11th of August in some places, but here in London it's on the 12th of August at about 3:24 a.m. So I'm going to go through the aspects, also go through the placements. I'll throw the chart up so you can see what I'm talking about, and then we'll talk about what it all means. So here we go. We've got the Sun at 19 degrees of Leo, the Moon 19 degrees of Aquarius, creating an opposition. We've got Mercury at 12 degrees of Virgo, Venus at 0 degrees of Leo. It will have just moved into Leo at this full moon. Mars at 25 degrees of Taurus, Jupiter 8 degrees of Aries, Saturn at 22 degrees of Aquarius, Uranus at 18 degrees of Taurus, Neptune 24 degrees of Pisces, Pluto 26 degrees of Capricorn, the North Node 17 degrees of Taurus, and Chiron at 16 degrees of Aries. So those are the placements. Let's talk about some of these aspects. Well, at a full moon we have an opposition, the opposition between the moon and the sun. The moon, as I've already said, in Aquarius, creating an opposition with the sun. That moon is applying to a conjunction. 4 hours after this full moon, we'll have a conjunction between the moon and Saturn. Saturn is retrograde, so it's going backwards in the chart, but the moon approaching that conjunction. And what we have here is a square from both the moon and the sun to Uranus, which has just gone through a conjunction with the North Node, and is basically Uranus here, the unexpected, the out of the box, squaring both the moon and the sun. The other aspect that I may briefly touch on is Neptune in Pisces, 24 degrees. It's also retrograde, sextiling Mars at 25 degrees of Taurus. So those are the main aspects. So what can we say about this full moon? Well, the full moon is in the sign of Aquarius, which is a fixed air sign. The symbol for Aquarius is the water bearer. It's an air sign, and yet it has an association with water or an association with wisdom. In traditional astrology, or Hellenistic astrology that I generally practice, it is ruled by Saturn. So with Saturn there in Aquarius, this is a very, very strong chart. I mean, the image that I kind of put forward for this full moon is the Battle of the Titans, because, as I've already said, we've got the Sun over there in Leo, the Sun being the ruler of Leo, Saturn being the ruler of Aquarius. So these are heavyweights. These are heavyweights in opposition. The symbolism of Aquarius could be futuristic. It could be status quo, and yet cool, especially with the moon there. Cool emotions comes to mind, even being cut off from emotions, a sense of loneliness, a sense of dropping projection, a sense of detachment. So the Aquarius side here being cool, being cold, and in opposition to our Leo, which is our fixed fire sign. Leo, the lion, often symbolizing the mind, the rational, that which is royal, warm, often associated with gold, loyalty, creative, self-expression. So there's a tension between our emotions and our ability to express creatively. And all this in relation to a square to Uranus, and Uranus here being, as I've spoken about before, Uranus being the cosmic trickster, Uranus being out of the box, the lightning strikes. As Richard Tarnas has talked about, Uranus is often associated with the myth of Prometheus stealing fire from the gods in order to progress human development. So this futuristic sense, and in modern astrology, Uranus is given as the ruler of Aquarius, which I think is interesting given the square from the moon and Saturn to Uranus, and it's something that we're going to have to contend with. We're going to have to contend with Saturn, the status quo, squaring Uranus for the latter part of 2022 is something that's going to be unavoidable. And given that the node is there in Taurus this time, because this happened in 2020 with much of the social unrest and social issues that we've been facing, this full moon seems to almost announce that square as being operational again. It's coming. It's going to be hard to avoid. It's going to be not partile, so not an exact square, but pretty close to being a square. And given the fact that this has been triggered 3 times before, this fourth movement is going to be a wave that was going to be hard to avoid in the social, in the collective consciousness. It's going to be difficult to avoid the tension between the original, the out of the box, that which like moves us forward versus that which holds us back. So definitely pay attention to this in the coming months. But I wanted to talk a little bit more about Moon conjunct Saturn, because Saturn's oftentimes in a birth chart associated with the father, associated with the rules, associated with the masculine principle of masculinity, whereas the Moon is often associated with the mother, the Moon being the emotional body. So at this full moon, do not be surprised if there is not a sense of emotional detachment, emotional coldness. I mean, we also need to remember that our moon there in Aquarius is quite far away from being at home. It's in a Saturn-ruled sign. Cancer is its natural domicile, so it's not quite in detriment. We would describe the moon in Capricorn as being in detriment, but here the moon in another Saturn-ruled sign is also struggling to express herself, struggling to be the feminine moon that she likes to be. So that is pretty much what we've got. I mean, we do also have, and I mentioned this earlier, we have the Venus moving into Leo, which gives a touch of warmth to expression in relationships. But I think I can't get over the fact that Moon approaching conjunction with Saturn is going to be quite difficult emotionally, quite like lonely, quite a tough ride for our Moon, along with the shocks and out of the box Uranus square. I mean, that's going to give some work, some things to work with. So alongside with this, and this was another astrologer I heard talking about this at this time, and we have this sextile between Neptune and Mars. I mean, Neptune being the planet of dreams, illusions, delusions, and the danger here with the sextile to Mars is there might be some kind of somebody acting upon those violent, Mars being violence, being warlike, acting on those warlike fantasies and putting them into place in a kind of way that like shakes the collective. So be aware that is a possibility at this full moon. There was a quote that I had for this full moon. I was looking around, I mean, given the moon's proximity to Saturn and the difficulties most probably around the emotions at this time, I looked for a quote. I found a quote from Rumi, the Persian poet. I've used him before, and I found this one, and I thought it was a good quote to put out there with this report. Basically, Rumi said, "Your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find the barriers within yourself that you have built against it." So if we think about Saturn as being the limit, the barriers, the end principles, then the moon here being associated with love, with femininity, with these kind of principles. Rumi's here talking about how we need to be thinking about these barriers that we put up within ourselves against love, the things that make expressing our emotions difficult, and slowly bringing them out rather than like keeping them up in place. So again, Saturn likes work. It's the taskmaster. So I like the beginning of the quote, "Your task is to not seek for love, but merely to seek and find the barriers within yourself that you have built against it." Anyway, I hope that this full moon treats you well, and that you have a good time with dealing with this heavy energy, because it is heavy energy. I can't pretend that it's not. And I look forward to speaking to you guys soon. As ever, I'm available for natal chart readings. You can reach me through my page, Astrological Observation, and also there's the YouTube channel, MC-Astro, so this report will be going up there as well. So anyway, I look forward to speaking to you guys soon, and take care. I hope you have a great Aquarius full moon. Bye bye.